What if I told you that a single piece of legislation could slash your taxes today, but blow up Americans' debt tomorrow, put interest rates higher, and make life even harder for millions of families? Sounds crazy, right? Well, that is exactly what is on the table with Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill. But here's the catch. The consequences of this bill go way beyond just taxes and could impact everything from your job to your home loan. So let's break down the real consequences for the economy, for investors, and for your wallet. Alright, let's kick things off with one of the most immediate consequences, the deficit. The Congressional Budget Office, that is the independent body that analyzes bills, estimates that this bill will add over $3 trillion to the national debt in the next 10 years. Now, if you think about that, it is a huge number, right? Yes, we are talking about trillions and money the government doesn't have right now. So what happens? They borrow more. But borrowing money means more debt for the US and for future generations. If that sounds bad, that is because it is. Higher national debt usually means that interest payments increase, which could lead to higher taxes for you down the line. It's essentially pushing the cost of today's decisions onto tomorrow's taxpayers. And that means you and me. Rising interest rates. Now, here's the kicker. Rising debt leads to rising interest rates. As the government borrows more money, it competes with businesses and individuals for the same funds. The result, interest rates go up. And what does this mean for you? Well, mortgages, student loans, credit cards, and even business loans all become more expensive. Let me put this into perspective. If you're planning to buy a house or refinance a loan, higher interest rates could easily cost you thousands of dollars more over the life of that loan. So while you might see some immediate benefits in the form of lower taxes, you could end up paying more over time when everything from your car loan to your mortgage becomes more expensive. Cuts to social benefits. Here's where things get serious. While the bill is cutting taxes for the wealthiest Americans and corporations, it is also cutting key social programs that millions of people rely on. And this includes Medicaid and student aid. Plus, there are new and stricter work requirements for these programs. So what does this mean for low-income families and individuals who rely on these benefits? It means they will likely lose access to the assistance they depend on for basic needs. We are talking about healthcare, food support, and even access to education. For these families, this bill could mean more financial pressure, potentially leading to less spending and low economic growth. And the worst part, it could widen the gap between the rich and the poor, something that already seems to be growing in the US. Big spending on immigration and defense. Let's shift gears for a moment. One of the other big components of the Big Beautiful Bill is a massive boost in spending on immigration enforcement and defense. We're talking about billions of dollars being poured into ICE, hiring more agents, and building more border walls. This isn't just about making the country safer in the eyes of some. It is also about military spending, with even more money going into defense contracts and the military-industrial complex. So if you're an immigrant or know someone who is, this could have serious consequences. The added focus on enforcement and border security could create more tension and hardship for immigrant communities. Meanwhile, the extra defense spending takes away resources that could have gone into infrastructure, healthcare, or other public goods that benefit all Americans. Who really benefits? So, who actually wins from this bill? Middle-class tax cuts. If you don't rely on social benefits and you're not dependent on government programs, you might see more cash in your pocket thanks to tax cuts. But that is only if you are in the middle to upper middle class. And who loses? Low-income families who rely on Medicaid and food assistance. If you rely on social safety nets, you will likely face the sharpest cuts, which could hit hardest in times of economic struggle. Market volatility and investor impact. What does all of this mean for investors? Well, with more debt and higher interest rates, we could see market volatility. Investors are always looking for stability. If the US is saddled with more debt and interest rates are rising, businesses might have to deal with higher borrowing costs, which can reduce their profits. And there is more. Renewable energy companies and green investments could suffer because the bill cuts incentives for clean energy and promotes fossil fuels instead. For stock market investors, this could mean more risk and less certainty in the market, which could lead to fluctuations and even a drop in stock prices over time. As we see, the bill could create a lot of uncertainty in the markets, and that is never good news for long-term investors.